in October 2023, a company filed a lawsuit against the US government in regards to the return of a super yacht that the US government currently has in San Diego in the US. You'll know the vessel we're talking about because we covered it vastly on the channel at the time. It's motor yacht Amadea. Now, the US government says that the vessel is owned by Suleiman Kerimov, who is Russian, and he bought it in 2021, but the yacht is under a straw owner of a chap called Eduard Kutenitov. They filed a lawsuit in October 2023, saying, "Can we have our yacht back, please?" Under the name of the company that is the official owner of the company, Mill Marine Investments Limited. Now, that's the same company that was saying that they were owning the yacht when it was going through the courts in Fiji, when the vessel was arrested in Fiji on request by the US government. On the 26th of January, we received an email from a company, a US company that represents Mill Marine Investments and Eduard Kutenitov, and they say he's the owner of Amadea. And they said this evening, this is 26th of January, this evening, Mr. Kutenitov's attorney filed the attached motion to dismiss the US government's forfeiture complaint on the US District Court for the Southern District of New York. And the government, it says that, anyway, I'm not going to read all of it, of course, but it says the government fails to allege sufficient facts that the sanctioned individual owns Amadea or that payments were made on its behalf. So they're basically saying we want to dismiss the case for this yacht and return it to its rightful owner. Now, in this lawsuit, well, they've sent us two so far. We didn't mention the first one. We're just following the case, but in the first one, it goes through the timeline. But I want to give you the timeline as we know it, and then I'll show you the differences. And now, the vessel was ordered in 2012, delivered in 2017. Built by Lürsen in Rendsburg in Germany. It was managed by Imperial Yachts, Yacht Management, who are Russian-owned and now sanctioned yacht management company. And once the vessel was built, it was pretty much immediately put up for sale. And the yacht was laid up in Montenegro for years while it was for sale. And then in August 2021, you know, as you do in a small industry like the super yacht industry, we had the yacht being sold, and it was transferred from the management company, or the ownership company, these shell companies, not shell companies, but the companies that they have to put assets in. It was called Nereo, Nereo. And it was transferred to Mill Marine Investments, which is the current owner on paper. The yacht left Montenegro after all that time being laid up there and started to move around like normal yachts do. You can see some footage here that we've used in various different videos of Amadea. This was shot in Nice in 2021, in September 2021, just after the Monaco Yacht Show. The yacht was in Nice port. Now, not long after that, the vessel headed across. It headed west, and it ended up in Caribbean in early months of 2022, which is right around the time of the invasion of Ukraine. The reported buyer was Suleiman Kerimov. And now, what a lot of these people don't know, the people who are sending us letters and stuff like that, I mean, we have a lot of information from a lot of different sources, confidential sources and stuff like that. But in this particular case, when this yacht was being built in Rendsburg, I was actually in Rendsburg on another yacht. So I was in the same shipyard as this yacht being built. So, you know, when you're in a shipyard, you get to know other people working on other vessels, the workers, the actual contractors who are building the yacht and stuff like that. You get to know a lot of different people. You don't necessarily know who they are when you meet them. You know, you go out into the local town or wherever. So, but you do get to know people, you know. So now the version of events that they're saying in this lawsuit is is that they're not disputing any of the timeline in terms of, ordered in 2012, delivered in 2017, was built in Rensburg. These are all facts. Now, the transfer from one company of ownership to another, what they're saying is that was not a sale, and it was simply transferring an asset from one company to another. But they're saying that Mr. Kutenatov remained the same owner, and they just transferred it from one management company. I keep saying management, but one ownership company to another. Now, right around this time, the time when the vessel was allegedly sold, August of 2021. Now, when we say that the alleged buyer was Suleiman Karimov, well, his family were now on board the vessel. They were coming on board, they were spending time on board. According to the US government, they started to request changes to be made on board, moving of plug sockets, changes in decor, things like that, things that owners do to a yacht. But what the company is saying is that they were just charter guests. They're saying that the vessel wasn't sold, and they were just on chartering the vessel, and that's why the vessel was now moving around after being laid up in Montenegro for years. So what's interesting about this lawsuit that we've got a copy of is right at the beginning they say there's no evidence that Mr. Kutenatov sold it. He's the rightful owner. And then there's a list of things in there, and it says there are no allegations that Karimov purchased the vessel with illegal proceeds. There are no allegations that the alleged sale of the yacht to Karimov was a crime under US law. There's no allegation that any specific individual sent funds to the United States with the intention of violating the IEEPA. And there's no, so this was the law. Under sanctions, that they're not allowed to use the US monetary system. They're saying that didn't happen. There's no allegation that the funds transmitted to pay vendors involved criminal proceeds, etc. So it goes on like this. Now, I find it a little bit strange when they say, well, he didn't buy the yacht, but then they start saying that he didn't purchase the vessel with illegal proceeds. There's no allegation that the alleged sale of the yacht was a crime under US law. It's a bit strange, isn't it? If you're saying that someone doesn't own a yacht, and then they go on to talk about how he didn't use illegal funds to buy the yacht, but he didn't buy it, right? So that's a bit of a strange defense. Yeah, it's quite a strange one. But this Eduard Kutenatov, he is tied. This is not the only yacht he's allegedly owns. He is also tied to another yacht that you might know, motor yacht Scheherazade. He is, on paper, the owner of that yacht too. So that's a $700 million yacht, estimated. He's the owner of Amadea, which is a $300 million yacht. He's the owner of Scheherazade, apparently, which is a $700 million yacht. And that's not it. There's more. He's also the owner of a third yacht, a massive yacht, sister ship to Scheherazade, almost the same size, 135 meters versus 140 meters. Well, in actual fact, Scheherazade is actually it's a few meters longer than it used to be because they had a stern extension, didn't they? So it's probably 142 meters now, that yacht. But anyway, the other vessel is motor yacht Crescent, which is the big Darth Vader looking yacht, which is in Tarragona in Spain, currently also frozen in place there. And but Kutenatov's name is on all three of those yachts, and that's like a $600 million yacht as well. And in actual fact, in this lawsuit, they actually say that he has over $1 billion in yachts. He owns $1 billion in yachts. So they're actually confirming that, he's the alleged owner of all these yachts. Now, obviously, Scheherazade is tied to Vladimir Putin himself. Motor yacht Crescent is linked to Igor Sechin, although it's denied, as well as Amore Vero, which he also denies. And Amadea, obviously connected to Karimov. The DOJ, the US Department of Justice, they say he is a clean, unsanctioned straw owner on paper. hiding the ownership of the real owners, Putin, Kirinov, and Sechin. That's straight from the DOJ. You've been watching a clip from our new Yacht Report podcast. Catch the full episode by clicking here. You can find a link to the new YouTube channel Yacht Report podcast down here. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.